Hi guys, so I'm going to show you how to write your introduction and you can just follow along with me. The first thing I need to do is go ahead and change my font and size. I'm going to change to Times New Roman 12 and to a black font. You might have this on there already. It may be an Arial 11 though. We're going to go over to line spacing and change to a double space as well. Next, we are going to do our heading. So you're going to write your first and then last name, enter down, write my name and Mrs. Christ's name because you put your teacher next, enter down again, put our class, English 10, enter down, and then you put the date. Remember that this is not like how we say it. It's going to be the date, it's due, then a space, then the month, then a space, and then the year with no commas in there. So if you go up to the header, we want that page number to be in there as well, but you can't just type it in. You have to go to Insert, Page Number, and then hit the top left box, okay? Now, I don't know why mine went in the middle, but it did, so I'm going to move it over to the edge. I'm going to change to Times New Roman, 12-point font, in black color, and then I'm going to put my cursor on the left side and type my last name in a space. Don't put a comma here either. Now this is where you would usually put your title. I'm just going to put introduction and you can do the same thing because we are just writing our introduction right now for this assignment. Now I'm going to align to the left again, and there are three parts that I really want you to focus on for this introduction and all your introductions. That is your hook, your background information or context, and your thesis statement. In this case, it is the theme statement that you are arguing that we are going to pick out and use for your thesis statement. You're arguing that this is the message Shakespeare sends about life through the play Macbeth. So I'm going to go ahead and outline that hook, background information, and thesis statement, which we know is that theme statement. Now, I'm going to go back to the one that I used in the example I have for you, where I posted on your Canvas announcement that whole detailed section on how to create a theme statement, and that's the one I'm going to use in this example. So I'm just going to copy and paste that over. I'm going to fix all that formatting. So again, we have unbolded, no bolds, no italics, no underline, Times New Roman, 12-point font, and we want everything to be in black font. No fun colors, unfortunately for us. So that is mine that I have. When people focus on gaining rank instead of being a good person, or good leader rather, they become corrupt and lose their power. Now, I know I want to add in something that tells us this is the argument of this play. So I've added in Shakespeare's play, he asserts that when people focus, blah, 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 blah. Now notice I'm changing asserts to suggests. I could change it to argues. You can use a variety of different words there, but I like asserts, so I'm going to stick with that one. It's one of my favorite words for lit analysis essays when we're talking about an author's message. Now, for our background information, we want to make sure that our audience has information that they need to move forward and work with our ideas. So I know that I'm working with the idea of power. I know I need to define who, like Shakespeare, what his first name is, before I go on, and what that play is. So I need my author, my title, and like a brief synopsis of what happens. Now, you don't need to add in all this information about the play. Keep it focused to what your theme statement is about. So because mine is about power and gaining rank, I am going to be focusing on the plot elements that reflect that, the plot elements that reflect gaining and losing power. So I want to think about what happens to Macbeth where he gets all this power and then he loses it. So I am coming up with, in William Shakespeare's tragedy Macbeth, noble war general Macbeth obtains a prophecy from three witches telling him that he will ultimately climb the ranks to become the King of Scotland. Okay, so I need a little bit more in here probably. I don't want to give everything away to my audience, but I do want to be explicit and kind of set the stage for them. When I start talking about him getting corrupt, gaining power, what do they already need to know before I dive into that discussion in my body paragraphs? So I think that they probably need to know how he got to be king. If he's at this point just a war general, and especially if he's noble too, because we know that his character really sharply shifts as the play goes on. So I'm adding in now, after some provocation from his wife, Lady Macbeth, he decides with her to help kill the current king and take the throne. But as he gains power, he loses something more important. So that gives them a little bit to kind of hang on to, where I don't give it all away, but they know the important parts. Now, this next part is the hook. This can be very, very challenging. You can do a lot of different things. You can use a quote from a famous person, maybe a piece of data that relates to it, like how many historical leaders have gone corrupt. My favorite thing to do is just to make a tense or catchy, punchy statement. So that's what I think I'm going to do in this. So I'm going to start by focusing on that corruption of leadership. So I'm going to start off by saying leaders throughout history have never been able to escape the legacy they leave behind, be it good or bad. Now, I like that first part a lot because I think the word never makes it more punchy. Being able to escape their legacy makes it a little bit tense. It adds that tension there. And that is referencing that corruption and that power that we see in my theme statement. So it definitely relates to the theme statement, but I don't have to use those same words the whole time, right? Now, I will say that be it good or bad, I think is kind of vague and doesn't add a whole lot on, but I do still like the idea behind that. Like, I want there to be a little bit of tension or challenge, like what you leave behind might not be what you want it to be. It's not always good. So I think I am going to change that because I just don't like how simple it is. So let's see what I come up with. I'm thinking that I definitely wanted to be more specific. And so now I am going to go a little bit more in detail with my theme concept power that I was working with as well. So, how they handle the power they wield, and I misspelled that naturally, so I have to go back and change that. So, how they handle the power they wield will forever latch to their name. And I think that's a sticking point because it seems like it has a lot of weight to it, right? Like their decisions matter and they're going to be stuck with those decisions even after they die. Like that's how people remember them. So, okay, now I have my three components. I am going to get rid of my hook, my background information, label, my hook label, and my thesis, my theme statement label. And then I'm just going to combine them all into one lovely paragraph there. I'm going to indent my paragraph, and then I am good to submit. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please let me know if you have questions.